I'm Dom Rici, and this is Light It Up.
Get ready for Richie's rants.
Did you hear what they said?
Testing.
Modern technology.
Get out of here.
Good morning, bookie bashers, run line smashers, total hustlers, dog line crushers, and this is Light It Up with your boy Dom Rici here.
Light it up. Show's about to begin.
How is everybody doing tonight? January 27th, Monday, Super Bowl week. We are all ready to go. We have a big game coming up. But unfortunately, tonight I had other things to start with, but we're going to have to start off with the tragic news about Kobe Bryant. Just quickly, not to dwell on the thing, I just wanted to say that it's a great loss, for everybody. Even, I'm not the biggest NBA guy, but, I was back in the past. But over the last maybe 10 years, I've kind of gotten away from the game. But a guy like Kobe transcends all sports, transcends all different lives. And, he's done a lot of good. He kept in touch with a lot of plays. He's done a lot of good for the game after his career. There's just millions of stories going around, from WNBA players to girls that are playing high school and college ball that have a future, to soccer players, to AC Milan put out a great quote about him and about what he did for them. And there's it's just amazing how many things. But anyhow, I just want to start out with saying that prayers go out to Kobe, and let's not forget about the other people that were on board. His daughter, I mean, just amazing. It just breaks your heart. His daughter's friend, a teammate, her parents, the pilot, I'm not sure who else, a friend or two, maybe there was 9 people total, 7 people total, whatever it is, one is too many. And I know we all dwell on, the fact that it was Kobe, but, we can't forget about the others. So, unfortunately, that's how we're going to have to start off tonight. But before I get into my Super Bowl and before we get into everything else, let me bring in my friend, my partner, my colleague, Big Ragu 62. Hey Doc,
What's
how
up,
you doing?
Dominic? Hey, buddy,
How's
how are you
everything,
tonight?
man? I'm good. Unfortunately, like I said, we had to start off the show with something, but we could not talk about it. So
Yeah.
it was a tragedy. I know yesterday me and you were talking, we were chatting, and all of a sudden, you heard the news, and it was
Devastating,
unbelievable.
man. I'm just gonna say one quick comment about it. It's hard to wrap your head around it. Like I typed in the chat, generational loss. I mean, a one of a kind guy. We can't tell our own families enough. I mean, this opens your eyes up on a whole lot of different levels. Not because of the great basketball player he was, but he just, like you said, he just touched so many people's lives in so many different ways, and especially when he got away from the game of basketball. A lot of the younger guys growing up, they idolized him. I idolized him as a player, and then more so as a person after he got out of the game. You never know. You see the news, you don't want to believe it's true. With all the crazy stuff that goes on the internet. And my son just came up this past weekend. Sunday. Tomorrow's my birthday. I'll be 58 tomorrow. But my son says, "Hey, Dad, I want to come up and spend the weekend with you." I says, "You sure, son?" I says, "A lot of stuff going on." I said, "Well, come on up. Come on up." And we had a nice dinner Sunday, or actually Saturday. He goes home Sunday morning, and he texts me. He says, "Did you see the news?" I says, "What news?" He says, "Kobe Bryant." I says, "Nah." And I'm looking, and I can't find anything. And as the day progressed, the story started coming out. It came out by TMZ. It's amazing how TMZ breaks these big stories, where the real media, they can't get their hands on the truth, but these guys can. But it was very sad, a great loss, for the sports world and for the world in general, because these type of guys only come around once in the generation, and it's sad to see. But you got to take every moment you have. Tell your loved ones that you love them every day, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. You know what I mean? So. That being said,
that's for sure, man.
We move forward, and
you said it well.
We're gonna life. Time heals all wounds, but this one's gonna sting for a while.
Yeah, without a doubt. My one little comment, I meant to hit the Ricci's rant afterwards. My one little rant was going to be about TMZ, only because the LA Police Department came out today and said, you guys leaked the story before we even could contact the families. I mean,
Yeah,
you're
that's
right. It's
true.
amazing how they get the damn stories right off the bat. They seem to
Yeah,
be everywhere,
yeah.
but it's just a
You're
shame,
saying
man,
them.
that
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. But that's not really their fault, I guess. In today's media world and electronics, this it's gonna happen,
Well, we
and
talked about it too because
you
we were
know,
saying, hey, how come ESPN's not talking about it?
right, right,
TNT. They really
exactly,
have to verify their stories because before they put something out there, they have to be absolutely sure. Then I was watching the Pro Bowl. Then Jim Testatori was saying something about it.
yeah. I remember you said that, right?
Then it was true. Then you kind of
Yeah,
knew the story was getting real. But
yeah.
anyways, sad,
Anyway,
very sad,
God
very
bless, God
very sad.
bless. So
God
on a,
bless
on
the
a
family.
happier note, 58 years old. Happy birthday, brother!
Yeah, tomorrow.
Great,
Tomorrow,
that's
my
great.
mother, she had one of her lucky days in life. She got a son like me,
Yeah,
and
that's it,
and
baby.
now you guys get to share me every day too.
That's
So
right.
God
Who's
bless us
luckier than
all.
us? It's
Salute
it's
to myself and salute to my family and salute to you
yeah.
guys.
Yeah, man. Salute to the Ragustas and happy birthday, Doc. Love you, man. That's
Yeah,
great.
love you too, brother. Thank you.
So hey, man, Super Bowl week, huh? It came upon us quick. This NFL season seemed to blow by this year.
Yeah,
And but going into the Super Bowl, first of all, last time we did this show, we did it Sunday before the games. So and they pretty much came out pretty, I guess kind of like we both thought. I know you had the Packers team total and that hit, and I liked the 49ers. So I did really well with my prop bets last week. But
yeah.
I know we didn't get a chance to really talk about how those games went out. I guess it was going to be too tall of a task for the Titans to win that third game. And
Yeah,
the
fourth game on the
overlooked thing,
road too.
and the overlooked thing I thought was that the Titans, as good as they were, their pass defense was bad. Was ranked in the high 20s, 26, 27,
Yeah.
whatever the number was. So I think that was the glaring thing in that game. But what did you think? How did you think the games went? As far as the
I,
Chiefs-Titans game, what did you think about that game?
I thought the game went I didn't expect the Chiefs to get down early like they did the prior week.
Right.
But they rallied back, and that was. I'm not surprised that they did that, but the way they did it though was unbelievable. They scored 41 unanswered points, and they scored and then at one point they scored like 3 touchdowns in 5 minutes. So they have that quick strike offense, which is
Oh,
very very
man.
dangerous. And Tennessee. The funny thing about Tennessee, you got to give kudos to the Chiefs defense too, because they shut down Henry, which a lot of teams were having trouble doing because he
That's
had
right.
rushed over 200 yards in like 3 games.
Yep.
So Spagnola's got the defense playing pretty good. 49ers on the other side, what can you say about those guys? They kept pounding the rock. Everybody's getting on Jimmy G for not throwing more passes, but why? Why would you?
Exactly.
Why would you put yourself in harm's way?
Don't
Not
fix
to
what's
say that
not
they
broken.
can't, because the guy can throw the ball. There's no question about it. So that's going to be the big thing. Is it going to have a little rust? I doubt it. 2 weeks to repair is a lot in the league.
Yes.
A lot of guys, they're dinged up a little bit. They'll get a little healthier. So
Right.
they're going to have to go through their playbook, and they're going to see what lines up on the other side, both sides of the ball. And but to answer your question on the result, I think both teams went out and executed their game to perfection, and now they're playing in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, with the four, I was a little bit down on the Packers most of the year. I kept on calling them a paper tiger. That was probably a little strong. I mean, they played good. They strung against 7 wins in a row. I know they weren't against great teams, but they still strung 7 wins in a row at the end of the season, and that's not easy to do in the NFL.
Well, let me ask you a question.
Go ahead.
What would you think your biggest surprises in the loss column would have been going through the playoffs? Who exited a little bit earlier than you anticipated?
Who exited earlier than I think? The Baltimore Ravens, right?
Yeah, Baltimore, I would say, and then maybe New Orleans Saints.
And I had this. I was going to just say that because I had the Saints was my future bet that got blown out of the water. I took one NFC and one AFC. As you know, like you, I have the Chiefs, but I had the Saints to win the NFC Championship. I had them beating San Francisco, and I had them playing the game, and they were both 500 at the time. So I took the Saints to win, and I took the Chiefs to win, but the Saints didn't work out. But I thought the Saints crumbled. I guess Drew Brees maybe was he still hurt from that shoulder injury from weeks before that, or is it just like everybody, age catches up to us no matter how good you are.
Yeah, I was very surprised, how he coughed that ball up on that last play. You didn't expect him to do that
last year, right? You thought the Saints were destined, right?
Yeah, exactly. They just kept coming around with, we'll say, hey, they're going to not make up for it, but they're going to be more in tune with getting to the championship game this year because of what happened last year. And I thought the same thing with the Chiefs too. I like the Chiefs and the Packers, and the Chiefs and the Saints were the teams that I thought would kind of wind up. I didn't think Baltimore was going to get there because I just think, not to take nothing away from what, Harbaugh was doing with Jackson, but Jackson he had a heck of a season, and he probably could have carried them, a pretty long ways into the playoffs and maybe right into the Super Bowl, but it just wasn't meant for them to be, with that offense. I think they were just too one-dimensional, and it caught up to them in the playoffs.
Yeah, growing pains. I mean, that team has a good future. There's a lot of young guys on that team, and they have a good future. Lamar Jackson, we know what he did last year in the playoffs, and then this year he did it again. So next year he's going to have something to prove. He gets a pass for 2 years, but you don't want to be labeled as that kind of guy.
But that's the way the league's going, though. If you really think about it, they're going to more athletic type quarterbacks. Then you have the guys coming in like Garoppolo. So now you got the classic matchup where you got kind of a new age type quarterback versus a more classic quarterback in Garoppolo and Mahomes. But I have to not to get into all the details of the game, but just just from you got the classic, tough defensive team, a smash mouth team was going to try to run the ball and throw second. We're here, with Mahomes, they're going to try to move the pocket around and create some plays at the line of scrimmage. And then if Mahomes needs to tuck the ball away, it's a very sneaky good runner. He can take off. He can take off and go downfield. But it's going to be a real good game, I think. I know that total keeps climbing up, or I think we're up to 55 now.
Yeah, I looked before we came on; it was 55. As far as Mahomes, I jumped on that prop bet the last 2 weeks with the rushing yards over. I mean, they were 1 week was 27, 1 week was 29. It was kind of ridiculous, I thought.
Yeah, that's going to be one of my props.
But I would think that even though they're playing a lot better defense this week, just the way you would have to play Kansas City, like we were talking about last week, I thought they were going to have to double team Kelsey. If you double team Kelsey, which is usually his check down, that might open the lanes up a little bit for Mahomes, and it seemed like it sure did,
Yeah, I think the third and short is going to be very dangerous.
That should be a live prop. Have you seen a number on that? I didn't see one I looked on Bovado. I didn't see one.
Yeah, I seen one today, and I couldn't believe when it jumped off the page. I went on the I took an email from Visa, and they give you all the props from William Hill, South Point,
I got
Westgate, Circa. Anyways, the prop on Mahomes, and I'm going to smash this one because I don't bet a lot of the props, but I usually bet a handful, maybe like 5, 6 props. I usually go like 4 or 6. Mahomes rushing yards, 11, or longest rushing yards, 11 yards. I think in a third and short situation, or maybe like a third, if they get third and long, like a third and 12, third and 14.
That one right down now.
Yeah,
that's a great
longest one. The longest rush for Mahomes is like 11. It's either like 11 and a half yards. I can see that happening.
Without a doubt. Did you see a number of total yard rushing?
No, when we get into the program a little bit, I will find the total for the
what I
rushing
do,
yards.
I have a little weird look on this game. Last week, one of the few I went 7-3 on my props. One of the props I lost was Mahomes over 24 completions. They scored 35 points, and he didn't even get to he only got 23 completions. This week, it's up to 25.5. I have a feeling that he's not going to
30 and a half. Yeah.
Wow.
And 11.5 is the 11.5 is the longest rush, minus 110.
Yeah, no, listen, all you have to do is spring one to get the 11.5 yards. That's
25.5 is the completions.
Yeah, I know. I took that. I took the under. I took a shot with the under. Um, I, I, I like to take my prop bets early because
They
there's something
change.
with the prop bets. The numbers don't really rise, but the juice
Yeah,
rises. I
yeah.
mean, all of a sudden you see these same prop bets at 145,
They go. Yeah,
150, 170. I won't take one that's over 130, 135. That's about the highest I'll go. I usually like to keep it, in that one thing. You never really see plus ones too often on the
yeah.
ones I take. But I like to
Triple
keep it in
K.
that 110,
Tri-
120, area at
Triple
least.
K's got an interesting prop on Mahomes, an anytime touchdown for plus 400. And then Flipper's asking you, hey, Dom, are those prescription sunglasses you got on? Those
No,
look pretty.
actually,
No. Thank you, Eric. Eric, wishing
no,
you a happy
no, they're
birthday.
not
Thank you,
prescription.
buddy.
They're fake prescription sunglasses on. They're the
My,
fake. They're reader sunglasses. That's exactly what they are.
oh, yeah,
Because
there you
otherwise I
go.
wouldn't be able to see. And my
Yeah.
regular glasses, I was getting a glass. So
The ones I wear, they're prescription sunglasses too, and they're gradient. So on the bottom, I could read out of them. But
okay. And
I wear
plus
them to
Flipper,
drive at night and everything. They cut the glare
and
out.
plus
So,
Flipper. That's part of my tribute. If you can see, there's my jersey number 12. Joe
Joe
Namath,
Namath, Smoking
the
Joe.
third representing the Super Bowl III, the sunglasses, the number 12.
You
And
got the pantyhose on too,
the reason why I was looking for the white fur jacket. The reason
and the
why
pantyhose.
I'm representing Super Bowl III because that's the only freaking one I got to represent.
Yeah.
Damn Jets.
You
I'm
know,
62. I might be 92 before I see one, but that's what the glasses are
speaking of
about.
Super Bowls, I got to give my guy Eli Manning a shout out on an excellent career. A lot of people dogged him late in his career, but you know what? I went back and I couldn't believe I watched the helmet catch this past weekend. I was sitting home while we were talking, watching all the Super Bowls.
One of the best
And man,
plays in NFL history.
I had to scrape the damn chills off my arms
right.
when I seen that
It's a great play.
Man,
It's
so
got to be the
crazy.
top 10, 15 plays of all time in NFL.
Oh yeah,
it's a great,
definitely.
it's a great play. Eli deserves the Hall of Fame. The guy, was, listen, he won 2 Super Bowls with two Super Bowl MVPs. What the hell else do you want? Anybody's team that
Mr.
never
Clutch
seen
in
one
them games.
would love that.
If you watch that play over and over, how he got away,
It's a great play.
almost tackled 3 times, and forget about it. I can't even talk about it anymore. Can't even talk about it.
But he deserves the Hall of Fame. I'm glad that he went out with a win. He got a nice ovation at Giant Stadium. You see the tears in his eyes. His family was there. I guess he knew that he was going to hang it up right then and there. He's not a backup. He said, "I don't want to be a backup." So God bless.
There's another Manning on the horizon too. I'm hearing about him.
Right.
I want to say I forget the kid's name, but there's one more Manning coming up in the family that's going to be playing some college football here, and they're saying
I was watching
pretty good.
I was watching the press conference, the Eli press conference, and he has his 3 daughters and a little boy. The newest kid is a little boy. So my girlfriend says, "What did Eli keep on trying till he got a boy?" I'm like, "Of course." I said, "Archie demanded another son. We need another generation of Manning's got to come up."
That's the kid's name too.
Not even 2 years old, but
the kid they call him Arch. That's the kid, the quarterback that's coming up, Arch Manning.
Oh yeah, yes.
Look out for him in a couple
man.
of years.
That's great. That's great. So I had a discussion with somebody today about betting the Super Bowl and when you should bet it, and because of the 2 weeks, is it smart to jump on the line right off the bat, or is it should you wait a little bit? Should you wait to the end? According to what I looked up, between 90 and 95% of the bets don't come into like Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Correct.
So, what's the because this game particularly, with the line so low, it's right now it's at 1.5, but it started at 1.5. I seen it pick them. Now it's back to 1.5. What do you think about that? About waiting a little bit, or is there any kind of strategy about that?
The betting angle of this game reminds me of the Seahawks and the Patriots a few years ago when the line was like 2 points, 1.5, 2, and I don't think this game's going to see 3 points one way or the other, no matter which way it goes. You might see it go down to pick 'em. You might see San Fran come as a favorite, because I think a lot of California money, especially in Nevada, you're going to get all that heavy money coming in late, like Friday night, Saturday for the California players. The public money is going to come in, And the only way I see a sharp angle on this game is maybe, if the total keeps going up, you might see it, what's his name at the Westgate was thinking it might go back to the original total of 52.
It's at
John
55
Murray, he was
now.
talking about that. So
I mean, that thing keeps on rising.
Yeah, I mean, that's all one-way action right now on the total, but
Right.
the money's coming both ways right now. Whichever way the bets are coming, as far as the money goes on both sides. So I think this game is probably going to wind up right about where it's at. Maybe a pick 'em or one way or the other, 1 point. So
Right.
a lot of two-way action. So if it was a more popular team versus let's say a team that maybe was a marginal team or wild card team, you'd probably see the favorite be betting up the whole way, But this way, you're going to see a lot of two-way action. So I don't think it's going to matter either way. Maybe like you said, the money line is going to change, because when people – that's the thing, when they're taking the points, they're trying to balance – they're balancing out with the half a point here, a point there. But when the money starts coming one way, that might be a good indicator too, looking at the money line. I don't know which way the money line is went. I haven't looked at that in a while because I know at one time it was 125 and 105.
Yeah, now it's the Chiefs minus. Well, on Bovada, it was the Chiefs minus 120, and the Niners were even.
Okay. Yeah, so usually about a 20-cent spread on
I'll
that.
tell you, but that angle
on
the total, I'm going to keep my eye on that. Because if this thing would tick up to 56, it might be worth putting a bet in there and hoping that it does reverse and go back down again. That would be that there could be a middle in there somehow. I didn't think that number was confusing me at 53, 54, but now I'm starting to think it's getting too high. What do you think? I mean, that total. I just don't know, man. I don't know if it's going to be that kind of game, that 35-27 type game. I don't know. I'm a little confused on the total on this game. Which
you can look at, what you can do too. If you look at the prop sheets and you can see where the team totals are going to be priced at, and naturally, 31, 27, 28, those numbers.
Oh, right.
12-1, 10-1, that type of stuff.
Uh-huh.
The oddball numbers like 29, 32, those numbers are going to have a little more value in them. Especially if it comes down to a 2-point conversion or a missed extra point or something like that. But for the most part, if you want to start looking at totals, you start looking at those numbers and putting them together. Like if you got lines that are 8-1 on a certain total, you're going to see the range of the team based on the odds. And if you start playing with those numbers a little bit, then that kind of clues you in on the total. But they're all probably going to be close to 56, 54, 55 anyways, whether you take San Fran or Kansas City. So I don't think it's going to be a 1-point game. I really don't. I don't see this game coming down. I don't think it's going to be close in that regard. I think whoever wins this game is going to be a touchdown better than the other team.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I would look at
alternative lines. That's one thing I really like getting involved with, especially the Super Bowl, is looking at alternative lines. -3.5, -7.5, -10, 10.5. But I did that with Atlanta one year, and it cost me dearly because not that I bet heavily on all the numbers across the board that way, but I had 6 bets. I had Atlanta -10.5, had Atlanta -7.5, -6.5, -3.5, pick them, and then the +3 when they were playing New England, and they all went crashing down in the middle of the third quarter. So I was counting my money. I was going downstairs not to get in line, but starting the celebration with a few more drinks, count my money in my brain, and then by the time the game was over, I didn't count shit. I ripped up all my tickets. Thank you very much, Atlanta Falcons, for that.
You did this. You ripped up the tickets like the mush. Come on, Kryptonite. Kryptonite. He ripped up.
Well, I said, well, at least I got the plus. At least I got the -6.5. That's coming. Oh, I got the -3.5. Oh, I got the pick 'em. Oh, I got the plus. I said, oh, they're all gone.
Yeah, that is funny. I was looking at some of the past Super Bowls. Actually, I looked at all of them, and from 1970 on. And there's not any game that's a 1-point game. There's a couple 3- and 4-point games, but most of the games are 7 points, 10 points, things like that. So it's not often that you see a 1- or 2-point game. Not often at all.
They've gotten tighter over the years. Like a great game was the Philadelphia New England game. That was a fantastic
Yeah.
against the New England and Seattle Seahawks was a good one too. But they've been getting tighter. They have been getting tighter over the years, and they haven't been blowouts like they traditionally have. Except for the last one that comes to mind was the Denver one. That was never a game. Like from the very first snap, they sailed the ball into the end zone, and it was funny because back then a safety, like the first score was a safety. I think it was like 100-1, and then the next year they reduced it to 60-1, and it happened again. Or will there be a safety? Then the
Right, will
first
there be
score
a
being a
safety?
safety was like
Right.
100-1, but safety was like 40-1, 60-1.
Uh-huh.
Now they got wise to that because like 3 out of 4 years
Yeah,
during
that
that stretch,
Seahawks did it, right? Yeah.
they cut it back to like 20-1.
That's
Now
funny.
the books got hammered pretty good in that one.
I hear you. All right, hey Doc. Well, I tell you, we have before we get now, we can get really deep into our Super Bowl with our special guest, a friend to the show, ex NFL man from the Arizona Cardinals, the Miami Dolphins, the San Diego Chargers. Our friend David Boston is in the house. David, thank you for
There he
coming
is.
on. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good. How you guys doing? What's up, Big Ragu? How you doing, Rici?
Hey,
We're
hey,
doing
how you
good,
doing,
brother.
sir?
How are you, man?
I'm
How was
doing
your
good.
holidays, Dave?
They were great. How are you guys?
All right, good, man. The usual, man. Spend too much money, too much aggravation. You know how it goes.
Yeah.
But what do you got on in the background? You got a basketball game on, I see.
Yeah, there was, all the Kobe stuff going on Sports
Oh,
Center.
okay, yeah, man.
Yeah.
We started off the show with that. For a few minutes. I'm sure that was a big blow for you to hear about that yesterday.
Yeah, it was a big blow for me, a lot of my friends, family, kids. Kids are crying. I got 14, 12, 11-year-old, 9-year-olds,
Yeah.
kids are crying and stuff. Hits everybody, hard in different ways. And it's just a very, very unfortunate set of circumstances. But, I'm just now kind of getting, just somewhat feeling a little bit better over the whole situation. But it's been very tough. I have a little bit of a lack of experience with losses at my age right now at 41. I just haven't really had any close friends or family had any loss. So that kind of actually, from a distant a role model, it just bothered me a lot. So
Yeah,
it's hard to wrap your head around it, isn't it, Dave? I mean, you just see so many other people that are hurting so bad right now, and it just wears on you. It really does watching it. Just Doc Rivers really got to me yesterday. I had a hard time watching Doc Rivers. Yeah, it was tough. Doc's a great guy too. He's got Central Florida ties. His kid played at UCF down here, and he coached the Orlando Magic. He's been around the league. He's a Knick. He played for New York, and I loved him when he was a Knick too. So I got a lot of respect and love for Doc Rivers.
Yeah, big time. Yeah. So anyhow, unfortunately, life goes on, and we're always dealing with something, man. The news keeps on changing and changing. It's crazy. But on a brighter note, it is Super Bowl week, and it's Super Bowl 50, a big Super Bowl in the NFL, and. What were the way me and Doc started out was we were talking about last week's games and how the games worked out and with the matchups in the Super Bowl. What'd you think about last week's games? Did they pretty much work out the way you thought, or?
They worked out the way I thought. I was actually at the Kansas City game on my toes. It took about 3 hours for my feet to unfreeze. One of the coldest games. I mean, I went to Ohio State obviously and played in a lot of cold weather games, but this particular game was, I tried to go at halftime to the bathroom. It just killed. I should have probably stayed in my seat.
Yeah.
Was there a groupie up there, Dave, that went to the game, or who'd you go up there with?
No, I went up there with my wife and
your wife. Okay.
Yeah, so my dad was actually retiring 25 years, and so this was his last championship game. So I went up there to support him up there. And so
it was great. Oh, so he's retiring. Dad's retiring.
He just retired.
That's great.
He hung it up 25 years, and this was his last game.
Time.
Yeah.
That's great, man.
Awesome.
That's great. God bless him, man. That's great. We have I mentioned that you were on the Miami Dolphins, and one of our close friends is a big Dolphins fan. He's so happy you're on, and his screen name is Flipper13. There you go, and I'm sure you could figure out why. So he sends a shout out to you, and so does all the guys in the chat. We're happy you're on. So
tell everybody said hello.
Yeah, that's great, man. So this week, Chiefs. Last line we've seen was -1.5, and we've seen a total of 55. what's your thoughts on the game generally? Just thought.
On the side,
Yeah.
part of the side, yeah, man. I think there's an argument to be made on both sides. I think most people are kind of split depending on who you're talking to, but I just think it's going to be very, very tough for the Chiefs to stop the 49ers in any kind of fashion. They played better late during the year. They've shown the ability to make some stops. But just, if I had to trust the defense that's going to, make a few stops when necessary, I'll trust the San Francisco 49ers. But on the bad side of it, Patrick Mahomes is my favorite player. I went up to Detroit Lions when they were on the road there. He's the only guy that I probably would fly to go watch play a game. He's my favorite player. So it's tough for me to bet against him, but I don't know if I can visualize the 49ers with the physicality they play with and all the components they have to really just lose the football game. But they got a lot of speed on Kansas City, and Mahomes is great, so it'll be a good game.
Yeah, it should be a great game. I mean, of course, that's why there's such a short line. There's a lot of argument on both sides. I just feel like the Chiefs might be up against it with that defense. They scored 35 points against a pretty bad pass defense last week. And plus they caught the Titans on a horrendous spot for the Titans to try to go into the Arrowhead and win. I mean, that was just a tough spot for them. Kudos to how they played this year, but I thought that game last week had everything going for it for the Chiefs, and not this week.
Yeah,
not this week.
What are your thoughts, Ragu?
I got a couple thoughts, but I'm with you on the Mahomes situation. It just, they were a field goal away last year from getting there. San Fran, like you said, they kind of put everything together this year. Everything with that defense and the running game. They over 2,000 yards. They're a little dinged up with Coleman there, but Mostert did an awesome job last week.
Awesome
2
job.
weeks ago, just unbelievable what he was able to put on the field. And I'm not saying that Jimmy G couldn't perform, because I'm sure he was up to the task if needed be, but their execution on both sides was fantastic. They came Green Bay. They just kind of come. I think they ran out of gas a little bit going down the stretch, kind of like Tennessee did. But I don't think they were equipped to beat San Francisco, because it showed in both games. That I don't think we got a really good read. We got the good read on San Francisco, but Green Bay, they weren't able to put their best foot forward. So right. I think you're going to get good efforts on both sides. It's going to be a matter of execution. Who's going to be able to execute their game plan, for the whole game here. I think they're going to start off a little slow. Personally, I don't think you're going to see a quick start by either side. I think you're going to see a lot of. I think you're going to see the game open up probably, going into the second quarter to the third quarter, and then depending on how they go down the stretch. I don't think it's going to be I think it's going to be a game. I don't think the score is going to be indicative of the line. I think it's going to be at least a one-score differential one way or the other. So I'm thinking touchdown or better by either team, depending upon, turnovers. I think time of possession-wise, San Francisco, they're going to kind of want to do what Tennessee tried to do. Yeah. And then at the same time –
couldn't do anything, man, that game.
Yeah. Right. I mean, kudos to Spagnuolo, what he did with the defense. And they've gotten better. It's not like Kansas City, has a bad defense, because the knock on them in the past was – they couldn't stop anybody, but they've kind of put things together going down the stretch here, especially the last, 4 or 5 games. They kind of really came together, and they've had a real good defense. And same thing with San Francisco. They kind of, not that they got away from the passing game, but now they're going to have to, make some plays downfield. If they're not going to be able to run the ball efficiently, then they're going to have to open up the playbook to kind of move the thing. And the thing that worries me about Garoppolo is he throws a nice straight ball, between the hashes. I think he struggles when he's got to go outside the hash marks a little bit. So they're going to try to force him to probably throw outside a little bit. Where Mahomes, he's going to be all over the place.
All over.
That's the thing with him.
What do you think about those? What do you think about the Chiefs with their slow start on both their last 2 games they played? I mean, they cannot afford to go down 17-0 to the 49ers. I don't think. I mean, I don't think the Super Bowl is going to be anything like the last time the 49ers played, where they gave up that big lead in the second half to the Falcons. That's for sure. But on the Chiefs end, that slow start, I think if they do that again, that could be detrimental to them. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, they started off against the Texans that way, and the Titans came out same way, jumped out 10-0. I think a lot of this started, when they have the wild card games and the teams take the bye weeks, and you see it with Baltimore. A lot of the first round byes, everyone starts off a little bit slower, the rhythm's off. A lot of the run action with Baltimore, it caught up to them just because they weren't in sync. Really, they took the last game of the regular season off, and then they had a bye week, so they were pretty much 3 weeks off in that game. So I don't really I like teams that continue to truck along and stay in rhythm. You saw the Cowboys a couple years ago lost to the Packers the same way. They had the first round bye. Aaron Rodgers coming in, they just beat the Cowboys in that situation. So as far as starting off slow, I don't think the Kansas City can afford to do that. Just like you said, I think they will be a little bit behind in this game just by nature, but they're comfortable. I don't think they blink. And they've shown the ability to get down 7-0, 10-0. I don't think they're afraid at all to be, or they're going to panic or have any kind of problems with being down in that situation. But I just think that this game, like I said, it's an argument to be made either way. It's tough to get a good read on it, but it's one of these Super Bowls where you have one side on one side and the other side on the other side. I just feel like the 49ers in this situation. I just don't see that the Chiefs being able to stop them on defense. So.
Yeah. So the question is, me and Doc have so Doc, the question is to you is, me and you have that future bet on the Chiefs plus 500 to win the Super Bowl.
Oh.
I took that in week 13, Dave.
Okay.
And I'm not sure when Doc took it, but what do we do, Ragu? Do we have to sprinkle a little bit on the 49ers, do a little hedge? I mean, I don't have that much money on it. I got 150 to win 750, so not like I have 1,000 on it, but still, it's 150 to win 750.
I got to find out because
but
my friend put the bet in with me.
Shaking his head, Doc.
my friend put it in with William Hill out in Vegas at the M Resort. So, and I've been pretty lucky there. I've cashed two nice futures bet there for Super. I had the Ravens that year, 30-1 when they were a wild card team.
Oh, nice.
I had like $300 on that one, so that paid really good. This one I got a little more money than that on it, but I got 5-1. So we both agree. He and I, when we were talking about it, we both like the Chiefs, and the only team we were really worried about is maybe the 49ers. But I'm just thinking, I was kind of hoping Green Bay would get there because then it would have been a no-brainer for me because I would have had some serious
hedge.
plus money. Yeah,
that would have been a lovely money line.
It was easy. I put a little bit of money down and cash, either way. But this one I got to really think about. And we're talking about the prop plays, and that's why I usually make a handful of props, not to offset.
I got some going too. Before we let's get I want to go into some prop plays. I got a bunch written down, but before we do that, our friend is in the background waiting to get in. The show ain't complete without DJ Big Boss. So, what's up, DJ?
Yeah, let's even this out. 2 Niners, 2 Chiefs. Okay, let's even this out some. I've been bashful all year about my Niners. I didn't want to get too far involved.
You gonna make that fan bet?
Hey, no, ain't no fan bets going down. Ain't no only fan bet is going on the Niners this time. But it's funny though because I couldn't sleep last night. I was tossing and turning, thinking about this damn Super Bowl. Because my only question is how much I'm gonna put on the Niners. That's the only real question is how much. And
when?
No, I already know when.
What do you think about the line, DJ? I mean, the line went from 1.5 down to pick 'em. Now it's back to 1.5. I mean, you might be able to get a 2.
Man, I hope it do go to 2. I'm taking in money line. A lot of
right
people
now it's even. Today it was even the money line.
If you've been snooping around the internet and all the sports channels, a lot of cats are telling you this could be a blowout. And even though it was 25 years ago when the 49ers blew out the Denver Broncos, it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA.
Hey, listen, I used to bet nothing but NFC every Super Bowl because for years they owned the NFC. Every year, NFC, pound it. When Doug Williams won the Super Bowl, all them years back there, when your boy Joe Montana won the Super Bowl big over, they were like 19-point favorite over the and they were laying the heavy wood back then. I didn't play it that year. I mean, they came close to backdoor in that game, but usually the Super Bowls are blowout. We just got through saying, but the past few years they haven't been. thanks to Tom Brady and company, usually they like to keep it close when they play. But this year, we were just talking. I don't think it's going to be a margin. I don't think it's going to be anywhere close to the line. I think it's probably at least a 7 point, maybe a 7 to 10 point margin, one way or the other. So we'll see, man. I just hope it's a good game. I
wouldn't hedge your any of those bets though. If you got it all the way, I would ride it out, man. I think
probably not.
It's not really worth it.
Your hat on Mahomes, and just I trust Mahomes more than Garoppolo, but overall team wise, I think the 49ers are probably a little bit better team. But I would, so you just got to.
What about the coaching factor? Who would you give the nod, David? And
I'm going to go with Shanahan.
You're not going to go with Shanahan, huh?
Absolutely, yeah.
So all those years that Andy Reid has, you're just going to kind of look the other way just because of the way the game sets up for them?
No, I think he's one of the best coaches. I mean, in my opinion, who hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, and he's still trying to get to that point. I think he's been very close a number of times. And you talk to my dad, he talks to a lot of people that really sing high praises around the league about him. But one of my good friends, Niall Diggs, is a big part of our group down here that bet heavy, and we do a lot of things. But he played with Spagnuolo at the when he was with the St. Louis Rams. He was the head coach at the time, and so he knows him like a book. And it's just the type of scheme that he runs. He was a linebacker. My roommate at Ohio State, Niall Diggs, and he knows what they're missing, Tyrann Mathieu, and the way that the Chiefs have to pretty much play to be able to stop this game. I just think they're missing one more corner, one more big play type of person to be able to stop the 49ers. I just think he's missing a little bit. But like I said, Mahomes can overcome a lot of stuff. So
hey, it's Dom Rici here.
Yeah. The total then. If you think the 49ers are going to dictate, not dictate the pace, but you think they're going to have the edge in dictating clock, like they're going to try to slow the game down and keep Mahomes off the field for the quick strikes, or you think they're just going to go about their normal game plan, or are they going to modify that for this game?
I think that the Tennessee Titans came in there with that game plan, and what did the Chiefs do? I mean, the Chiefs were able to shut him down, and so the Titans didn't know what to do when we were watching that game. And it just, I think that's what they're going to try to do. But the 49ers are a run-first offense. I mean, they control the clock. The running back is Al Coleman, but I do feel like Mustard and some of the jet sweeps with Samuel and a guy you want to keep your eye on is talking about prop bets. One of the guys I always like to pay attention to is Emmanuel Sanders. He's a guy that will make plays in big games. He shows up when the moment counts. And if you're paying attention to one other player, watch the Saints game a few weeks ago. I think it was week 13 or 14, 75-yard bomb he had on a good Saints defense on the road. A lot of players had a lot of games. They put up 50 points in that game, 48. And so I think that the Saints have a really good defense, at least a better defense, in my opinion, than the Chiefs. So it's not going to shock me that certain guys that Spagnuolo tries to take out are going to make plays. And so I think look for a big game from Samuel, a big game from Sanders as well.
Emmanuel Sanders, a 44.5 total receiving yards, minus 125, over 44.5. Yeah. Bourne is another one that that's a sneaky player. I read where Shanahan was going to try to use him as a little bit of a secret weapon in the last Bourne.
Okay.
Yeah, Kendrick Bourne. And his total receiving yards is only 22.5. But the player I like, Sanders, I played last week, and he didn't make that total. But the player I do like is a sneaky player on the Chiefs, and who I won a lot of money with last week was Sammy Watkins.
Yeah.
I had him. I had him over 47.5 receiving yards, and I had him at the anytime touchdown plus 170. So I got to hit both. This week it's over 49.5. The reason why I liked them is because I felt like they were going to double team Kelsey. I felt they were going to try to take away Hill, or they were going to concentrate on those two plays anyhow. I thought Watkins maybe, he's that kind of player that he would, when you don't pay attention to him, all of a sudden there he is. And it worked out last week. I don't know if it's going to work out this time, but I did take that prop bet, a small one, but I took Sammy Watkins over 49.5 total receiving yards.
How many touchdowns do you think are going to be in this game?
Man, I mean, I know it's the Super Bowl. A lot of players play a lot harder. Everyone's going to play their best game.
I was going to ask you.
But, I mean, I feel like that if the 49ers can go into the dome with a good defense, remember the Saints, they pretty much won 4 or 5 games with their defense with Bridgewater. They were winning games 17-14,
Yes.
uncharacteristic wins. And so I feel like the Saints have a pretty good defense. I mean, at least a strong defense, comparable to the Chiefs. Although the Chiefs did play later down the stretch, I think they're pretty comparable defenses. So I mean, I feel like if the 49ers put up 48 on them, I think they're gonna move the ball on the Chiefs. I think they're at least gonna score 28 to 30 on them.
Okay.
I mean, that's just my opinion.
Right.
But sometimes things, defenses play all year. The 49ers play really great all year long, and then all of a sudden, Mahomes might light them up for 49.
Right.
Because the over and under is 6.5 touchdowns in the prop.
Oh, it is 6.5.
Yeah, at the
Did
Westgate,
you think that
plus
me
110.
and Doc were talking about it before? What team we thought was the biggest surprise that didn't make it to the championship? And like Doc was saying, we thought the Saints were probably one of the biggest surprises this year that they didn't make it. I know I had them to go to the championship. Did you think the Saints or the Ravens were a bigger surprise?
I would say, I was probably more shocked that the Saints didn't make it than the Ravens. I felt like the Ravens had, when they faced formidable teams, they went down to Kansas City. They lost pretty handedly down to a Kansas City team that is now in the Super Bowl. Lamar Jackson played great all year, but it's always funny. The teams that, they play well all year long, it gets into it, and it just – I thought the Vikings were going to make a little run here when they beat this, when they won.
Yeah, me too.
But it didn't
I like them down the stretch. Yeah. I like them down the stretch. So so Doc, that 6.5 touchdowns under and over, are you leaning over that? I mean, that correlates about what, 49?
I don't know. What do you think, DJ? What you think how many touchdowns you think the 49ers going to put up? And
I got an interesting look on the total right here. I think, okay, obviously we already know 49ers will run first. Andy Reid offense is not like he's just going to say hike and just start bombing the ball down the field. I think we get a good first quarter, maybe first half under. But I think the
10 points was the total. We looked at that the other day, didn't we? It was like 10.
Yeah, 10 points.
10 points.
But I think it climbs up after that, though. I think it's going to take some time for them to get acclimated. Once Andy Reid, both of them. Once they figure out where the hot spots are, they're going to take off for a little while. We're going to have the coaches thing in halftime where they got to make the adjustments. And the second half is where the game is going to be really played. But I think we start off slow.
Yeah. So maybe a first half under, second half over.
Yeah, I think I definitely.
That's what we talked about too.
I mean, I could see the Niners getting a quick one and then the Chiefs trying to alternate that one. But the Chiefs can't just go in there opening up the playbook because they playing against a talented defense who's going to adjust. So they got to take their time as well. So I think both, this is a chess match right here. And I think the first quarter mostly is going to be a real, grudge match, chess match.
I got one for you. Ready for this one? Now, how not quarterback sneaks, but Jimmy Garoppolo, his over and under yardage, what do you think it is?
His over and under.
Think Tom Brady-esque here with Tom Brady, because they used to put this prop on Brady. I used to look at him like, and he barely.
What is it that his total
rushing yards by Garoppolo?
Rushing yards.
17.
3.5.
20.5.
3.5.
Those are Tom Brady numbers there.
Wow, yeah,
that's funny.
He could quarterback sneak one for about his longest one is 2.5. His longest rush. I mean, all he's got to do is get chased by somebody, run for his life, and he should be able to pick that up. I would think. Right?
Hey, he's 6 foot something. I mean, if he lays out flat, that's about 3 yards right there, right?
I tell you what, that's not a good bet. 2 reasons. Number one, total rushing yards. So if he gets sacked for 8 yards, he's done, right?
So now you need 11.
Yeah, but if you take his longest rushing yard, 2.5, he can still, you can throw that total out and you can take the rushing yard, single rushing yard. Right. So bet that one. Garoppolo over 2.5 yards. He's going to be running for his life on one play, and hopefully he gets it.
I almost would take the under on that one.
Yeah, right. I mean, we were talking about this prop bet before. Also, actually, it was the biggest one I had last week was Mahomes over 29.5 rushing yards. Now this week it's that one last week started at around 25 and went up to 29. But you usually don't see that big of a change in a prop bet. Usually juice go up, but you usually don't see numbers fly like that. But this week it's 30.5, right, Doc? You said
Yeah.
the rushing yards. Yeah, it was
Yeah,
30
for
and a half.
Mahomes. At
And
the
his
Westgate,
longest rush is 11.5.
11. I can see that one.
That's
Nope.
some
I'm not-
nice.
I'm not. Well, he's shown the ability to move the ball with it. He's extending the plays, especially on the Titans. This game, he still made some plays.
But that's
with his
risky
legs,
against this team, right?
You think those linebackers are too quick for
they're going to come at some. I mean, I'm not saying Mahomes is going to be sacked consistently all game, but I think they're going to get at least what's the over under 5 or 6 sacks. I can get him at least 3 sacks. Sometimes he tries to make too much of a play, running around back there. One of those goes to minus 14 is pretty much a wrap on that.
Right. So the smarter play would be then the longest, like you said, Doc. You're 100% right. Then the better bet, if you're going to take it, is Mahomes' longest rush, 11.5 yards.
Yeah,
because he'll break one. If he breaks one, you're good. Yeah,
because
I
if
got
they
you.
get like, I think if they see like a 3rd and short, which you're probably going to see those plays coming, and they might try to run some kind of delayed play, with the receivers going downfield, and then if everybody follows, he's going to catch a lane and take off and run, or if they got like a 3rd and extra long, let's say. And the same thing, they send the receivers downfield. He might just pull it down and take off and run. But they're going to be spying him. It's not going to be as easy as we think. They're going to have some type of scheme to kind of keep account for him. But they run so many so many different gimmick plays. I'm sure they're going to have a play just put aside for that situation. Where they catch San Fran off guard. Where they execute it is another thing. But they got 1 or 2 plays, and they all do that. They don't show it. They put that play out there when they need it the most.
I got my number one. I don't really do a lot of props, but I got my number one prop, and I don't care which side you on, Niners or KC. It's a big line discrepancy in this game. Go after those alternative lines. I'm thinking about taking the 49ers on the alternative line minus 7.5. And I might even go up to 10.
That's what I live for, man. I live for these
Doc
moments.
was talking about that before, man. You guys are on the same page with that. It's something I really didn't think about, and I like that. I like that angle. It's something I really have to look at.
Maybe I'll put my fan bet right there, Big Ragu. I'll put my fan bet on the Chiefs alternative line like 10 or something in case we get blown out and I have to dust myself off a little bit. Just dust myself off a little bit and keep it on going.
Listen, if you feel this is I think is a ripoff. You only getting 8 plus 800 on the Chiefs minus 21.5. They pay more money than that. That's because the line's only 1 though. If Frisco was like 4 points, and that'd probably be like plus 1,500 or 1,400 or something like that. But if you like the 49ers, you get plus 625 for minus 17.5. That's a lot. That's a lot of points though. I never seen that points.
I'm gonna tell you on the prop bets. I feel like going into certain games, I feel like this is everyone's gonna play their best game or at least attempt to get up and play and put on a performance. And I feel like the Chiefs cornerbacks with Fuller, Ballard, who everybody in the secondary for the Chiefs, especially the starting corners, I feel like they're kind of mid-range guys, and they haven't really shown the ability to if they're going to come up there and try to stop the run with Matthew and come in there and really play 8, 9 in the box at times and make those guys defend one-on-one, those corners are going to have to cover some guys on the outside, man. Whether it's Kittle's coming around or if it's Emmanuel Sanders, Samuel, any one of those guys. But I feel like when you have a guy like Emmanuel Sanders who's been to several Pro Bowls, and he's going against 3rd, 4th round guys that really haven't made any kind of impact or any kind of noise, I think there's a big discrepancy on being able to make plays in big games. And he's a Super Bowl champion. So I look for guys that can step up in certain moments versus I think that he probably perceives them as lesser talented guys than him. And I feel like, a lot of people are going to be paying attention to Kittle's, Samuel and the jet sweeps. They have a run first offense, but he's a guy that I'm telling you, if you just sleep, Emmanuel Sanders will make some kind of play in this game. I'm telling you right now.
I like that look.
Sports Center. He's in Ferraris. He has huge houses. He's spontaneous. He's very fiery and flamboyant. You know, he's
So you probably a big play for him. I think
I'm just
I've
telling you,
seen
he's gonna do
it's
something.
like 17
Maybe
yards.
a game-winning play, or he might. Not, I'm not saying that they win, but he will make some play in the game. And I
There you
also
go.
feel like Hardiman of this 1.5 over 1.5 catches. He's a guy that also, while you're talking about the same, I like Ricci's point as far as paying attention to Sammy Watkins, as far as the way that they're going to attack him. I think that some of those third and fourth receivers coming on some of these drag routes, Hardiman,
Right.
he's a special teams guy, over 1.5. I think he might have a couple plays in the game as well that I would pay attention to, especially if they get behind against the 49ers, which they've shown a tendency to get behind, and so they're going to be throwing the ball a lot. I feel like Hardiman's a guy that could have at least a couple grabs, man, in the game, where, in my opinion.
Our buddy Jimmy the Bag has been big on one prop bet, and he took it immediately. Last week he was even talking about it, and that was Damian Williams over 3.5 receptions. And
Okay.
yeah, I thought that was a great. That's a great bet. I could see that. I could see that happen. I like that bet a lot. I know that was one bet he was jumping on. You have any thoughts on that, DJ?
Well, I know that we going along in time. I got one more thing
We
I've been.
got no time, man. We got no rush. We got no time
Well,
tonight.
I got somewhere. I got somewhere.
Oh,
I
you go
gotta
whenever
go
you
down.
need to go, brother.
But
Go ahead.
I got one more interesting look that I looked at with this Chiefs team, and that's that they didn't do exceptionally well scoring on NFC teams this year. They played a couple of them. They got beat by Green Bay. You know what I'm saying? So, like Big Ragu said earlier, there was a point in time when you could just bet NFC in the championship. I think NFC is shining this year as far as some of the teams that they have and some of the teams some of the stuff that they're doing. So, Chiefs not too well on the NFC side, if you ask me. And one thing that I messed up doing the fan bet when I did my fan bet with Green Bay is when you come down to these times of the year and these games, you got to kind of look at team's overall performance and just kind of figure out which team is best. Now, we've seen the Chiefs play some bad games without Mahomes. We've seen them go through some trials and tribulations. We haven't seen this 49er team struggle much at all. So I don't know if we don't know what they can do in that adversity, but we did rise to the occasion against the Saints. But going into this game right here, I don't know how this line is set so close and so thin. And it must be a lot of hate on my Niners or something. I don't know.
Well,
But,
we talked about it at the beginning. 90 to 95% of the bets don't come in till Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I mean, there could be. Our boy Flipper thinks that the late money is going to be coming into Nevada.
Where's most of the money at now?
Excuse me.
Where
He cut out. I think David was asking where
Where's
the
most
money
of the
was
bet?
now. Yeah.
You got the ticket counts anywhere? I haven't looked that up.
Yeah. No, I don't have the ticket counts right now. I know the money line on the 49ers went from 105 to even, and it ticked down on the Chiefs from minus 125 to minus 120.
All right. So if the money line went, say that again. He said the money line went down on Frisco, but the juice went up on the other side.
No, the juice. No, the other way around. The Chiefs went from 125 to 120.
Yeah.
And the Niners went from plus 105 to even.
Wow,
That's what it opened up at.
Yeah. Well, that tells you there's a lot of two-way money coming both ways.
A lot of two-way money coming in, right? So I didn't look at the tickets or anything like that. You know.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. We did mention earlier. Me and Big Ragu earlier. On some of the shows earlier that we think that the 49ers would probably be -1 come game time, but so far it don't look like it if it's jumping back. But that's just a part of the scheme, right? Somebody came and laid some big money so they can grab it on the other side. But I think the 49ers got a good chance of coming off at -1. But hey, if they want to give me +2, bring it to Papa. Bring it to Papa.
No, I hear you. There was one prop bet I was going to bring up with Dave. I guess David must have had some technical difficulty, everybody. So all of a sudden he cut out. And he's trying to get back in. So there he is. Yeah. Good. Let me see if we get him back in here. Hey, Dave, you good? You're back.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry about that, host.
Yeah. No, that's cool. We're gonna wrap it up soon, anyhow. But one prop that I want to mention to you guys and see what everyone's thought was before I get you guys to give me a final score is a prop that I thought was interesting. The 49ers combined special teams and defense over touchdowns 1.5 plus 700. Do you think there'll be 2 touchdowns between defense, special teams, something like that on the 49ers?
Kickoff and
Tough one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. I thought plus 700 wasn't enough money. Honestly.
I think that's going to be hard. I mean, in the Super Bowl, I mean, sometimes it happens. You know, it's just one of those games. But I don't know. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, I hear you.
What about the kickoff return guy for the Chiefs? He's pretty dynamic,
Hardeman?
isn't
Yeah, Hardeman. Yeah. You talking about Hardeman?
he? Yeah.
Yeah, he's a blazer. I think he's probably at least. I think everyone's saying he's faster than Tyreek Hill, but I mean, he's a guy that he hits a crease. You know, he can change the game. You saw he changed the game versus the Texans with that 55-yard kickoff return to start that kind of drive there. But yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Last year had Cordarrelle Patterson to score the first touchdown, 40-1, and he was like 1.5 step away from breaking that thing. He got up to the 45-yard line.
He's a hell of a returner. Boy.
Yeah, I seen him and I says that's why I did it. You know, so I might take a flyer on our KC guy too if they get the ball. I got talked off it many moons ago when Devin Hester. I told the story. I don't know if I might have told it online, but I know I definitely talked about it. Where my buddy, I bet $200, and he said, "You throwing money away? Don't do it. And I didn't get to the window with it, and he broke against. Because that year, the Colts had the worst special teams in the league, and the Bears had the best special teams. And I says, a couple things got to happen. They got to either defer, get the toss, and they got to kick it, and they got to kick it to him. But
Super Bowl game.
Hey, but your guy Sanders over and under longest reception is 17.5 yards. So if he's got the big play capability, that might be a look to get involved with.
I mean, he's a guy. I mean, they run the ball first. You know, that's what their identity is, and
right.
They're gonna get the ball to Samuel on some shorter routes, and he runs a lot of jet sweeps. Kittles is gonna.
Yeah. What do you think about? He's frozen up. What do you think about Kittles? I was gonna ask you guys if you think the Chiefs are gonna can they? I don't think they could double them because that's gonna leave somebody else open, but. That Kittle prop is 70.5 receiving yards, and that juice started at minus 120.
A lot of
now
yards.
It's up to minus 135.
All you could do to Kittles is try to get him out the game, man.
The guy like Kelsey. I mean,
the guy can block. He can block well,
just like Kelsey. Those two guys are pretty much, apples and oranges. I mean, Kelsey has had just probably over the last 3 years.
Get his plays.
Well, yeah, they're having some technical difficulty.
I was going to ask David about the receptions on Sanders too, because they got it set at 2.5. You know why it's so low? Because San Fran's been running the ball. I got a feeling that it's not going to be all about the run. I think they're going to run more balanced attack in this game. They're going to have to kind of not to extend the points because you're going to have to score points to win the game. We know that. I know they're going to rely on their defense, but with Kansas City's offense so potent, I think they're going to have to get involved in a little more of a scoring match here versus, relying the game on their totally defending. Because here's the thing about San Fran. We know that, when you get away from Sherman, they're going to be a little bit weaker against teams that have a solid number 2, number 3 receivers, where they didn't get that with Green Bay. They got away from that with Green Bay because of the fact that, Devontae Adams was all they had to go at him. So if you get away from Sherman on the other side, they have some weapons and some speed to kind of make some plays, behind the linebackers and make some plays downfield. So I think San Fran's going to have to score points in the game, even though their defense is as good as they are, just because of how quick that, the big play potential is with KC. What are your thoughts on that? You think that getting away from Sherman on the other side, you think that poses a threat on their defense, even though they're stellar defense with the linebackers in the front seven? Once they get beyond that linebacking core, what do you think? Is that going to expose a weakness for San Francisco down the field?
You talking to me?
Yeah, Dave.
I mean, I think you're talking about 4 first rounders on the front line. Guys that Bosa, Buckner, Armstead. Those guys coming from Oregon. They're very quick. D Ford coming from the Chiefs. They have guys that are quick and make plays, and I'm not sure if I can see Mahomes getting sacked a whole lot. But I feel like Richard Sherman. I know I saw Darrell Revis. A lot of people on Twitter kind of saying he was hating on him. He's not a true cover corner, and he's playing certain schemes to get open. But I feel like the corner across from Sherman, he could be exposed. I mean, I think the Chiefs they put up 30 every game. And so I feel like it's going to be hard, even though they have a strong defensive line and a good linebacking core, and they got a good corner. But I don't think they have enough on the other side of the secondary and the safeties to be able to stop the Chiefs. Those guys have a lot of speed. Mahomes is probably – he's going to make his plays. And so I really don't think – the 49ers have been shutting down people all year long, and they played great. But they also gave up 46 to the Saints. Teams with a good offense. And so, they give up. So the Chiefs – I don't think – if the Chiefs don't score 30 points, I'd be surprised. They always score 30 points. They get down 24, and they're going to score 30.
I got to object, though. In my research of them playing NFC teams, they haven't scored over 26 against an NFC team.
The Chiefs.
Haven't scored over 26.
You know why? I'll tell you why they haven't. Because they're waiting for this game to do it. Cheers to you, my friend.
That's right.
Man. That's great, man. We hit a lot of interesting angles on this game, man. So, David, before we let you get out of here, give us your
Sunday
score and your prediction, if you can.
I'm gonna say I think the 49ers. I think I'm gonna have them winning between 7 and 10 points. I think that the Chiefs will. I can't see Mahomes being out of the game by more than 14. I think they've been losing in the first half of games and coming back second quarter and third quarter. I think they will get down. I think that's not something that we can just say, okay, it's happened this time. It's going to change in the Super Bowl. I feel like they start a little bit slower and they always have enough offense to come back. I just think that the 49ers, they have too much. They're too physical for this kind of game. And the guys that are on the defensive side of the ball, and I feel Garoppolo can manage and perform and make enough plays to win a Super Bowl. Although Mahomes is my favorite player that I like to watch. Like I said, I got on a plane to go to Detroit to watch.
DJ, he was at the game last Sunday. DJ, in case you missed that part.
I got
David
on
was at the game.
to watch the guy play. So he's my favorite player that's playing in the NFL. But I just think the 49ers are they're such a strong team that I just can't see them losing the game.
I got a question for DB though. I know you've seen ex-NFL player Jerry Rice streak on down the field before the game.
Yeah.
You think you can beat him in the race right now?
Yeah. Oh, I don't think there's any question about that. I don't have no. I'll never compare to him or be in a conversation anywhere near that guy. He's obviously probably the top 2 or probably the best receiver ever. But as far as running a race right now, I'm going to blow him pretty bad because I keep in shape with CrossFit and I'm a high competitor with all that. So
that's right.
I'm a master's athlete with CrossFit. So I'm still bench pressing 400. I'm still squatting.
There you go, baby.
Onto it.
That's right.
Kudos to you, my man.
There's something that DJ and David didn't hear when you weren't here at the beginning is that tomorrow is a special day. Big Ragu's 58th birthday.
Oh, yeah.
So happy birthday, shout out to everybody to Big Ragu. 58 years old.
Hey.
We love him.
Happy birthday.
You're going to get all your gifts before Sunday, Big Ragu.
Yeah, right. You're going to take them away Sunday.
I ain't going to take them away. I ain't going to take them away.
Yeah.
But you have much as fun as you want.
Prop bet, the
always, man.
Bet. I'm definitely
going to be on the prop bets. And I'm going to put them out
So your favorite prop bet, Dave, would be that Samuels then, Sanders, then, right?
My favorite.
You pick a favorite prop bet?
I say Hardeman over 2 catches or Sanders.
Nice.
Because he's going against the cornerbacks against for the Chiefs. All 3 of them. If you look at all 3 of them, they're all, in my opinion, kind of mid-range, just kind of average corners. And I think Matthew's going to have to be up in the box to stop that run. They're going to be more on islands. And he's a guy that's a Pro Bowl guy, Super Bowl champion. He's expecting to make plays in this game. And so
You think he's going to get over 2.5 receptions?
Emmanuel Sanders, absolutely.
Yeah. So there you go. There's a
He
profit
lives a
that's
half
weird.
mile down the street down from here. I'm telling you, man. He pulls up in Ferraris and Hummers, man. This dude is
man.
He's a superstar.
It's minus 130 on the 2.5 over.
I feel more better about the 41 though, honestly. But
the 41.5, yeah. Over under.
Yeah, but Hardeman is one of my two favorites.
Yeah, that's nice. All right, man. David, it was great having you on, man. You're a friend of the show. We love having you on. Just not because of your NFL status, man. Just because you're a straight up guy, you're a humble guy, and we just love having you on, man. You don't mind talking about the games and about handicapping and about different things, different insights. So we really appreciate it, man. Hope you have a good week. Hope you have a good season, and we will see you again soon, hopefully. Anything you want to tell everybody before you get out of here?
No, Dom, thank you very much for inviting me on the show. I certainly appreciate it and love chatting with you guys, man. I love all the expertise that you guys bring to the table, man. DJ Big Boss called me up, said absolutely, and I've watched you on many shows, Rici, and talking everything. And Ragu, he's that's my dog right there.
I hear you, brother.
He's been doing it a long time, man. So I love to join, man. Anytime I have an opportunity to chop it up with you guys, man. So.
All right, Dave, man.
Good luck this weekend.
Pleasure
having you. If I
get
to Texas, I'm gonna look you up, my man, for sure.
Right,
if I get down to Houston,
y'all take care.
All right, Dave. Take care, brother.
Thanks, David.
Man, that was great having David on, man. He's just a great guy, man. Like I said, humble guy, straight up. He don't pull no punches. He's not looking to get anything out of us, or not looking for. He's just looking to talk, and he loves hanging with some handicappers, and we love having him. We're glad that DJ and Doc hooked up with him, and it was a pleasure for me to have him on. Some great insight, huh, guys, with him?
Absolutely, man.
Great. Every time, man. Every time.
Individual all the way around, man.
So, DJ, you have a final score for us? We know you like the Niners.
I'm going with 35, 24 Niners, baby.
I'm going to post this stuff tomorrow.
That's over.
It's gonna go over. It's probably gonna go over, but I like that under the first half or the first quarter. I don't know which way to play it. The 10 is kind of slim, but it's gonna be a slow.
I just looked it up. I see under 27 is even. Over 27 was minus 120 for the first half.
Yeah, that's right in the middle.
That's right in the middle, right?
Go on.
Maybe I'll do better with a first score like 6 or 7 minutes.
That was Bovada, by the way. I looked it up on so. So that was it. So Doc, what is it? What's going to be your final score?
My final score is I'm going to do a stupid number here. I'm going to say Kansas City 34, San Fran 27. Good luck to you.
I like 34-27. You know what? I for some reason I think this might be a little bit of a closer game. I have that Chiefs future, so I sure as hell can't go bet the 49ers. But on an alternative line, I wouldn't mind maybe putting something in like that, like a -7 alternative line with the 49ers, and then keeping my Chiefs plus 500 bet. But if I have to give out a bet, since I made you guys give out a number, I got to give out a number. I'm going Chiefs 31-30. Last minute field goal wins the game and rips out DJ's heart. But he takes but he's going to take the +2 tomorrow when it goes up. So we'll all be a winner.
I survived our last loss. I'll survive this one.
Listen, if we can't survive losses, we'd all be in trouble, right?
Yeah. I was there for the good times back in the day anyway.
That's right, baby. No. But, all good, man. All good. But it's a great show tonight, man. I appreciate you guys coming on. I'm glad we're back into the swing of things. The holidays are over. It is midwinter. We have a couple of weeks of, it's like we're in the middle of everything. But college basketball is heating up. March Madness will be coming around the pike before you know it. And more importantly, for myself and my friends like Noli knows, our MLB baseball 2 weeks to pitches and catches. I am thrilled. This year in Major League Baseball, it's going to be wide open. I think, man. A lot of changes happened over this season. We'll go into that more, in the coming weeks. But I'm looking forward to that. So then we got the NBA playoffs. We have hockey playoffs. Right now, we got about 35 games or so left, maybe in hockey, something to that area. So we're going to be hitting hockey hard on the Who-Bangin Sports Talk. We'll be hitting hockey hard the next couple weeks and into the playoffs. And we just keep things rolling, man. So everybody stay tuned. We got a lot of good stuff coming up in the future here. And, thanks to everybody for coming in tonight. EJV, Alex Ramirez, Paco Healy, Noli knows who we got to get back on air. Of course, you guys, DJ Big Boss and Rigu, I love you. Joey Work back from traveling around the country, working like the New York Islander, a fan, DJ Slayer Ski from my hometown, East Meadow, New York. A lot of guys joining us tonight, man. It was great having you guys. It was great having David Boston on. So
it's always
DJ,
a pleasure. Always a pleasure hanging with the homies and sharing the knowledge that we got with our guys, man.
There you go, man.
We love you, baby. We love every one of you. And listen, let's do one thing. Let's see you at the window. And guess what? Cash them tickets, baby.
That's it. That's it, Doc. You tell them. DJ, what do you got to tell everybody?
Hey, I want to give a shout out to all my bangers out there that's tuned in to the show that keep coming back. Alex Ramirez, EJV, Paco. Y'all know who y'all are, man. Keep banging the books, keep banging these picks, and keep showing up, hanging out with us on Who-Bangin Sports.
That's it, man. I'll tell you, we have, we started out with the low baggers, and now, a lot of things are changing. Things are changing, man. Life changes. Things change. So we're going to, we're going to keep it together. We're going to start a new chapter. We'll be with maybe the low baggers have to start being the banging baggers. But we're always together, man. We love you guys for being on. We will see you soon. And like Doc said, see you at the window. So good night, guys. Thank you.